It's hard to stand out in the sea of Stardew-like cozy games, especially when hundreds of hours of gameplay is really just the start. Getting someone's attention once is already hard enough, but keeping that attention is a nightmare. When I first started writing this, I wanted to create a list of every cozy game that came out last year, to help prove a point. I quickly realized how broad that definition has gotten and that this is a terrible idea, so I narrowed it down to farming games, and 15 games later, my point still stood. We don't have time to fall into 100-hour disassociative adventures in every game that seems interesting. To Everafter Fall's credit, it made it from trailer to wishlist to purchase for me, but then it's added 2 hours of gameplay for the next 8 months. Sound familiar? The good news is that changed recently. I took my own 100-hour journey through Everafter Falls, finishing the main story, side quests, and most of the achievements. We'll get to that. It's not a perfect game, but it's very much its own game, in both engaging and infuriating ways. Before we go further, quick spoiler warning, I'm not going to reveal major plot points, but I'm going to talk generally about story stuff and a little late game mechanics as well. It wouldn't ruin the experience for me, but if you're thinking about jumping into it, just be mindful. When I started a new game, I was immediately drawn in by the sense of mystery. The story starts with us waking up after a year in a simulation called Earth, but all of our memories are gone. Apparently we do this pretty often because everyone already knows, and frankly it makes meeting everyone pretty nice. Old friends are glad we're back, our pet is happy, she's new but seems nice, almost everyone seems trustworthy. It might sound a bit silly, but those initial interactions really sold the idyllic vibe for me. Don't get me wrong, it's fun to be the outsider, but sometimes it's just nice to be welcomed home. Unfortunately for us, that warm welcome is soon overshadowed by the existential threat of the portal, and that's when the game really opens up. In case it wasn't obvious, the writing really stood out to me. In terms of the world in general, there's a definite balancing act that needs to happen when your cozy floating island is in danger, but you could also just farm as long as you want. Be the hero your island needs, or comfy max with Pete. I think Square Husky did a good job of sprinkling in enough dialogue and cutscenes to nudge you along. There were genuinely times that I was running around looking for museum items when I was reminded by a line or two that, hey, I know you're having fun, but there's that whole looming danger thing going on, not sure if you remember that, so if you could help us out, that'd be really great. And honestly, not mad about it. I probably didn't need to spend 5 straight days fishing when the world was ending. Kind of a bit rude. It really didn't take me long to start feeling attached to the characters. They're all very offbeat and weird, but so sincere. The way they're handled makes the emotional moments hit harder, and the occasionally heavier-handed messaging stick the landing too. Maybe it's just because I agree when Dog talks about environmentalism, but I can't help but smile and say, yes, Kane. It's refreshing to play something that feels so authentically of the dev. I don't definitively know anything about Square Husky, but I feel like as I played Everafter Falls, I kinda got to know him a bit better, or at least some of the things that matter to him. And to get ahead of any parasocial allegations, he even said in a Reddit post, I don't think I could do a particular feature justice if my heart wasn't in it. He wrote this about a lack of romance in the game, but I'd imagine it probably extended to themes in general, and I really appreciated it so much. Mechanically speaking, there are 2 things in particular I grew quite fond of, and they're actually kind of linked. The system for leveling up your current skills and gaining new ones is based on edible cards. Sometimes you're given one, but most of the time you're earning them gradually just playing the game. When it first dawned on me that my borderline clicker-trained ability to chop wood and break rock wouldn't be necessary, I felt a little bit lost. I wouldn't say I necessarily love highly repetitive tasks for progression, but in games like this I kind of expect it. The card-based system here felt so fresh to me. I spent more time doing the things I actually like and got to progress the skill system how I wanted. Also, you just have options for how you earn the cards. Completing collections, fishing, turning in letters, or balling out and buying a prize key. You won't be able to rely on one method forever, but you're also not doomed to museum collection if that's not your thing. It's thoughtful game design, and I like it. That same open-endedness actually goes for resource gathering as well, using pixies. There is a bit of an investment setting everything up for the first time, but when you finally hit that 50 pixie max, you're gonna be getting more resources every day than you could possibly use. I liked how versatile the system was. I could really target exactly what I needed at that point in the game. Early game, my focus was on wood, coal, or all the things you'd expect. But late game, my focus shifted completely. My green pixies went from wood to tappers, and my blue pixies focuses were shifted away from ore and coal to all of the rare stones that I could find. It never felt like I was throwing things into the void, knowing that in 10-15 hours I would never need these resources again. There really is quite a bit to appreciate about this game. Unfortunately, I do have a few hang-ups as well. Thankfully, it's nothing that impacted my enjoyment of the main story, but it just kind of wore me down in the post-game. Let's start with collecting. When you first make your way to the museum or check the aquarium, you'll notice there's quite a bit to collect. On its own, I like that. It's pretty exciting when you find that rare bug or shell that you've been looking for. The problem is, there isn't just one or two rare items in each category, and some of the drop rates are abysmal. I think I went through every stage of grief trying to get the X-ray fish, to the point that I just felt nothing in the end. In Everafter Falls, you can find any fish, anywhere, anytime. I was really on board with that idea at first. I thought it was great. The problem is, when you're down to the fish that have a 0.06% drop rate, you're just going to get some of the most infuriating duplicates in this very long grind. I got 3 additional midnight koi, the rarest fish in the game, 0.04% chance of dropping, before I got my first X-ray fish. I had to just laugh by the 3rd one because it was so comically unlikely that this kept happening. Listen, I love the grind, but it got a little silly. It stopped feeling like a fun challenge and felt much more like artificial padding. I know this can be written off as personal preference, but I don't know, man. There are like 7 fish with less than 0.1% chance of dropping. With no better way to target them, it doesn't feel great. To be fair, this was sort of addressed in the recent 2.0 update, giving us new crafting items to better target certain collecting categories. It was definitely a welcome addition, but I still ran into issues with certain items. For example, the Epic Critter Terrarium is supposed to give you a guaranteed new critter every use, but I guess it's designed to ignore the common critter category. That makes sense until you realize the common critter you're missing has an 8% chance of spawning, so I just set up a bunch of terrariums and save scummed it until I got it. I guess it's nice that you can save scum in situations like this, but it's not exactly the most exhilarating gameplay. Something a bit more serious and definitively bad that's been an issue in both of my playthroughs has been actual game bugs. I don't want to be too shitty about this, but I ran into more than I'd expect, and I'm not the only one. Most of what I encountered wasn't game breaking, and I know this is a solo effort, so I'm not going to be too critical about that. But multiple achievements not working when they should is something that I can't hand wave away. This happened a few times to me, and as someone whose goal has been to 100% this game, it's pretty demoralizing. I was able to get one of the crafting achievements to work using Cheat Engine on a throwaway save, but there are currently 2 others that haven't worked yet, and I'm running out of ways to troubleshoot. So where does that leave things? I know it got a bit grim, but I'm still feeling good about this game. The gameplay is legitimately fun, and the vibes of just existing in the world are nice, maybe even comforting. The 2.0 updates definitely don't solve everything, but what it does show is that Square Husky is planning for the future both with new content and addressing existing concerns and bugs too. I was waiting to really explore the update before finishing this, and after doing so, I'm still feeling confident to extend some goodwill Square Husky's way. I've been working on my save in between editing, and I'm going to keep doing it when this is done. What's that? How's my 100% run going? I'm so glad you asked. I was actually nearing the end until my cat deleted my save. Yeah, I left the game on the main menu and went to the bathroom. I heard him walking on the keyboard but figured, that's fine, what could he possibly do? Well, everything, apparently. He deleted my save and was on the character creator for a new one. I tried every possible way to find any trace of the file, but it was gone. So after the most valid crash out of my life, I did the only thing that made sense anymore. Started a new save and got back to it. That whole incident probably took a year off my lifespan, but if I still want to play your game after that, you're probably doing something right.